The following video is by Nightshift 10,000. If you like it, be sure to subscribe to him, link in the description. And a reminder that all patrons who pledge at the Super VIP Club level or higher are entitled to have one video mirrored on my channel per month, no questions asked. Without further ado, here's Nightshift 10,000.
Hi everyone, Nightshift 10,000 here. I can't talk for long though, so I'm gonna have to make this one quick. I've got something I've got to take care of. There's this guy I've been doing business with, but he pissed me off recently, so I've decided that I'm gonna go down to his place, close out my business dealings with him, then I'm gonna kick him in the balls and call him an ugly Now, I do owe him a significant amount of money, but it'll all work out fine, I'm sure. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Says all the Trump supporters watching me right now. Hey folks, I'm back, and I've got a real winner for you today. Oh, hold on. Ah, yes, that ought to do it. Imagine, if you can, a world where presidents were so idiotic and vain that they got butthurt over trivial political matters, and literally declared feuds against other countries that their own countries owed enormous amounts of money to, and who could cripple them financially at will just because said presidents think nothing can hurt them, and because they have the brain-dead notion that their country is invincible. That's right, folks. You have not entered the Twilight Zone. This is real life, and I'm talking about the Trump and the trade war he declared on China. But you probably could guess that from the intro. First, a little backstory for those of you living under rocks. In 2018, China and the US began a trade war involving the mutual placement of tariffs. The Donald, of course, decided to exercise authority given to him by Congress from the Trade Act of 1974 to unilaterally impose tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods after the Office of the United States Trade Representative determined China's trade practices were supposedly unfairly limiting U.S. exports. China's Minister of Commerce said in a statement that the United States has launched the biggest trade war in economic history so far and imposed retaliatory tariffs on the U.S. goods of a similar value. The U.S. made claims that Chinese policies put U.S. patent holders at major disadvantages in Chinese markets by encouraging foreign companies to engage in free trade. Sorry, I mean joint ventures with Chinese companies. This would allow Chinese companies access and permission to use, involve, copy, or illegally develop their technologies. Or, well, that's at least the claim. The Trump administration views the Made in China 2025 industrialization plan as a threat to the U.S. economy and national security. The White House has urged the Chinese to abandon the program. China firmly opposes these U.S. trade practices, believing they represent unilateralism and protectionism, and in retaliation to this, Trump ordered more tariffs put on China. You know, this China, the China we collectively owe $1.13 trillion to and could financially destroy us. You remember that China? Yeah, I'll bet they ring a few bells now, don't they? Oh, wait. You're concerned about this vengeful slight against the country that we owe so much to? Well, you, here's a banhammer. Our illustrious president has or is currently shooting down any questions or inquiries as to any backup plans there might be should this whole fiasco blow up in our collective faces. But you're probably thinking, no, this couldn't possibly blow up in our faces, right? Guess what? It already is. China at this time is threatening to sell off all of the U.S. debt securities that they have accumulated against us over the years. That's right, folks. $1.18 trillion worth of U.S. securities will be sold off to whoever to be collected against us at a potential whim. Our treasury bonds and other securities will be sold, and the prices on them will plummet, driving down their value. That is, if our debt isn't called in on us first, bankrupting our economy and currency outright. However, if the US wants to sell more, they have to raise the interest rates on bonds to keep selling. Problem here is that increasing rates of debt on the US will increase exponentially, forcing the US to 1. Increase taxes, or 2. Sell more bonds, both weakening the dollar even further, which could bring the inevitable collapse of the dollar all the more quicker. Wait, why am I against this again?
Wait, what are my values?
Okay, there is more to this video than my usual shtick and sarcasm. Yes, this whole situation has the potential to cause a lot of problems for our government economy and for the world economy at large. And the collapsitarian part of me couldn't be happier about that. But I'm also seriously conflicted here, mainly on the grounds that a collapse now could lead to some major world issues, and wouldn't necessarily lead to the system that at least I believe would be ideal for human beings and the world. I'm a firm believer in agorism and its revolutionary potential to create major changes in our world, and while a collapse now could aid agorism, it could also equally doom any kinds of progress agorism is making now. I believe that people need more time to accept agorism and the changes it would bring to our world while eventually suffocating all government entities out of existence with its mere premise. If you're familiar with the premise of agorism, then you know that it is a means of using counter-economics such as alternative currencies and markets to usurp the position and control of government entities. But this ideology does take time to work on eventually choking governments out of existence. It's not necessarily a quick fix, even though, yes, it can work in this way. It's usually best left to time to hammer these things out. Think of it like the forming of a canyon, but hopefully it happens faster than millions of years. And to those who are unsure and skeptical of this revolutionary ideal known as agorism, let me place your minds at ease with this. Agorism coincides with voluntarism and individuality. It is an arm of liberty, and liberty as well as truth has no enemies. Think about it kind of like this.
Your enemies have occupied the island.
I have no enemies, merely topographies of ignorance. The people drift aimlessly, collecting into clans wherever they find a glimmer of knowledge.
While I am conflicted about how to achieve the desired revolutionary ends, I am not conflicted on my views of Trump's disastrous trade war and the tariffs he has implemented on China. Tariffs are like taxes. They are just as much a form of theft as taxation. And as for declaring this trade war on China, Trump needs to pick his battles better than he has in this case. This trade war needs to end immediately, and Trump needs to let trade flow freely throughout the world. I mean, wasn't that supposed to be the Republican policy and mantra on trade once upon a time, long, long ago in an America far, far away? Well, that's all I have to say for this one, folks. I'm Night Shift 10,000, and taxes and tariffs, and this trade war can go straight to hell. Peace out, y'all. Oh, snap.